Question 1. What is the primary benefit of using private endpoints for Azure storage accounts? Option A. It allows the storage account to be accessed directly from the public internet without any network security groups. Option B. It provides a private IP address from your virtual network, VNET, for the storage account, eliminating public internet exposure. Option C. It enables the storage account to be shared across multiple Azure regions for high availability. Option D. It encrypts data at rest within the storage account using customer-managed keys. The correct answer is, it provides a private IP address from your virtual network, VNET, for the storage account, eliminating public internet exposure. Here's the explanation. Private endpoints assign a private IP address from your VNET's address space to the storage account, making it accessible only from within your private network and removing it from the public internet, which significantly enhances security and compliance. Option A is incorrect, as it removes public exposure. Options C and D are features of storage accounts themselves, not private endpoints. Question 2. A client VM in an Azure Virtual Network, VNET, needs to access an Azure storage account via a private endpoint. Which networking component is critical for ensuring the storage account's fully qualified domain name, FQDN, resolves to the private endpoint's private IP address? Option A. Network Security Group, NSG. Option B. Azure Private DNS Zone. Option C. Azure Firewall. Option D. Virtual Network Gateway. The correct answer is Azure Private DNS Zone. Here's the explanation. An Azure Private DNS Zone is critical for correctly resolving the storage account's FQDN to the private IP address of the private endpoint. Without this, clients would attempt to resolve to the public IP address, bypassing the private connection. NSGs and firewalls control traffic, and a VNet gateway is for hybrid connectivity, not specifically for private endpoint DNS resolution. Question 3. Which statement accurately describes the key difference between an Azure private endpoint and an Azure service endpoint when connecting to an Azure storage account? Option A. Private endpoints use public IP addresses. Service endpoints use private IP addresses. Option B. Private endpoints are only for data at rest. Service endpoints are for data in transit. Option C. Private endpoints provide a private IP address for the service within your VNET. Service endpoints extend your VNET's identity to the service, which retains its public IP. Option D. Private endpoints require VNET peering. Service endpoints do not. The correct answer is private endpoints provide a private IP address for the service within your VNET. Service endpoints extend your VNET's identity to the service, which retains its public IP. Here's the explanation. This is a key distinction. Private endpoints bring the service into your VNET with a private IP, making it truly private. Service endpoints allow traffic from your VNET to reach the service over the Azure backbone, but the service itself still uses a public IP address, albeit with VNET-specific access controls. Question 4. What is the primary function of storage firewall rules in cloud security? Option A. To encrypt data at rest within the storage account. Option B. To determine who times can perform what times actions on storage resources. Option C. To control from where times network connections are permitted to the storage account. Option D. To monitor data changes and revert to previous versions. The correct answer is, quote, to control times from where times network connections are permitted to the storage account. Here's the explanation. Storage firewall rules act as a network-level perimeter defense, controlling network access to your storage account by specifying allowed IP addresses or virtual networks. This is distinct from IAM/RBAC, which focuses on who can do what. Question 5. When a request is made to an Azure storage account with firewall rules enabled, at what stage are these rules typically evaluated? Option A. After the client's identity has been fully authenticated and authorized. Option B. Simultaneously with the Identity and Access Management (IAM) checks. Option C. At the network layer, times before any identity-based authentication or authorization checks occur. Option D. Only if the request originates from a trusted Azure service. The correct answer is at the network layer, times before times any identity-based authentication or authorization checks occur. Here's the explanation. Storage firewall rules operate at the network perimeter. They perform a network-level evaluation of the incoming request's source before it even reaches the authentication and authorization mechanisms, like IAM/RBAC. If the firewall blocks a request, it does not proceed to credential validation. Question 6. A company needs to ensure that its sensitive customer data stored in an Azure storage account is only accessible from virtual machines within a specific Azure Virtual Network, VNet, and never directly from the public internet. Which storage firewall configuration would achieve this requirement most effectively? Option A. Whitelist the public IP address of each virtual machine. Option B. Enable public access for the storage account and rely on shared access signatures, SAS. Option C. Restrict access to the specific VNet/subnet using virtual network integration or private endpoints, and block public access. Option D. Configure network security groups, NSGs, on the storage account itself. The correct answer is restrict access to the specific VNet/subnet using virtual network integration or private endpoints and block public access. Here's the explanation. To ensure access only from a specific VNet and block public internet access, integrating the storage firewall with virtual network rules, service endpoints, or private endpoints is the most secure and effective method. This routes traffic privately over Azure's backbone, bypassing the public internet, and ensures only trusted VNet sources can connect. Question 7. Which statement accurately describes Azure Storage Service Encryption, SSE? Option A. SSE is an optional feature that must be manually enabled for new storage accounts. Option B. SSE encrypts data in transit using TLS/SSL, but not data at rest. Option C. SSE is enabled by default for all Azure storage accounts and cannot be disabled. Option D. SSE requires the client application to manage encryption keys and decryption logic. The correct answer is SSE is enabled by default for all Azure storage accounts and cannot be disabled. Here's the explanation. SSE is automatically enabled for all Azure storage accounts, providing transparent encryption of data at rest, and it cannot be disabled. Question 8. A security auditor requires that your organization maintains full control over the key encryption keys, KEKs, used for data at rest in Azure Blob Storage. Which encryption key management option should you implement? Option A. Microsoft Managed Keys, MMK. Option B. Client-side encryption, CSE. Option C. Customer Managed Keys, CMK. Option D. Customer Provided Keys, CPK. The correct answer is Customer Managed Keys, CMK. Here's the explanation. Customer Managed Keys, CMK, allow customers to manage their own encryption keys using Azure Key Vault, providing greater control over the key lifecycle, including key rotation and access policies. Question 9. For maximum assurance against potential data exposure during transmission and storage, an application developer wants to ensure data is encrypted before it ever leaves the client application. Which encryption method should they use? Option A. Storage Service Encryption, SSE, with Microsoft Managed Keys, MMK. Option B. Storage Service Encryption, SSE, with Customer Managed Keys, CMK. Option C, client-side encryption, CSE. Option D, storage service encryption, SSE, with customer-provided keys, CPK. The correct answer is client-side encryption, CSE. Here's the explanation. Client-side encryption, CSE, performs the encryption process on the client application side before data is uploaded to Azure Storage, ensuring data is encrypted before transmission and that Azure Storage only stores encrypted data. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my channel.